well, the funny thing is like, so I've done a lot of shows, and I always say to people who do shows, like after, because when I train them on doing how I do a show, is I always say, always try and get somebody engaged. If you're on a stand, always try and get somebody engaged, because there's a lot of people who want to know the information but don't actually want to directly talk to you. So even if that person has no interest in buying the product, and I would always have people, and they say, I'm not really interested in buying, but I'd love to know about what this product does, I will go, no problem at all, and I will give them the full unedited spiel. And the reason I do it is not because I think, well, one day they might want it, or it's because I know the power of actually having people as a captive audience, and you're talking about the product, that it draws people in. And I will end up with a queue of a crowd of 5, 6, 7 people just listening to my spiel. And okay, the original guy wasn't going to buy it, but then somebody else does. And actually, those same people wouldn't have actually wanted that actual interface with you, or then they'll have a follow-up question, but they feel good about asking you because they can see how free and open with the information you are. So just, running through things for people, it's so important. And there's, especially if you're in a busy environment, because there's a lot of people who actually want to know this information, but they don't necessarily want to interface with you because people are so sales shy, I would say.
Yeah, like I said, they get their defences up. They see a sales assistant and the defences go up. So breaking down that wall can be tricky, and sometimes it's just them seeing you with another customer is enough.
Yeah, but dog food is a difficult one. So I always said, like, selling dog food is the most difficult thing in the industry, because there's ideology behind some people. There's so much conflicting information. There's a lot of people who are in the industry, and I really disagree with this tactic, but they like to make people feel bad about what they're feeding. And
see, that's one of my bugbears. And I've had my customers come into me after having that experience elsewhere. I was feeding this, but the lady at the other shop said that, I'm a terrible owner almost for feeding it. And it really, really bugs me. Do you know what? Everyone's doing the best. No one's feeding that to their dog with their devil horns going, I'm poisoning him, yay. Everyone's trying to do their best. So you've got to go into it knowing that person is, whether it's financially or just knowledge-based, they're doing the very best that they can. No one's deliberately feeding their dog evil food.
Yeah, and I think the thing is that, people who are in that situation, they've probably never had somebody sit down and actually explain to them the differences. I mean, you look on a bag of dog food and you say, whatever dog with chicken, and you think, this is a chicken dog food. This sounds pretty good, and it says complete on it, and it will have some spiel full of fiber and vitamins. Yeah, exactly. And they go, that sounds pretty good. Sounds pretty nice. But this is the benefit of being an independent store, or being a pet specialist store, that you can actually go through people because they are an engaged market.
I think just going back slightly, the two barriers to selling dog food is fear of judgment. You can tell even when people pick up their own dog food and bring it to the till, if it's not the most expensive, you can see them looking at you thinking, oh my God. And I've felt it when I've just grabbed a bag of dog food and I'm like, oh, there was something better there, but that doesn't agree with my dog. They're totally going to think I'm a terrible owner. I've done it myself, in other pet shops. That fear of people who have a knowledge of dog food have that fear of judgment. People who don't have that knowledge, number one, it is an absolute dog food. The minute you start even thinking about it, it is a minefield. So the amount of knowledge you need to give these people in a short time, it's scary, and it's very overwhelming to that customer who doesn't have the knowledge.